What's going on YouTube? So really quick video today if you have a newer L5P Duramax. So this is 2017 to the current 2025 models. They're all relatively the same. Really common issue to watch out for. It's something you want to check before it leaves you stranded. So let's get right into this video and go under the hood. So this truck is tuned, which amplifies this problem because it runs higher boost pressure. Come over to your hot side charge cooler pipe, and this crimp fitting, if you take a close look, it usually sits flush with this rolled lip, and you can see this rubber boot is actually slipping off the pipe. It's a really common joint to blow apart. This clamp is crimped on, so there's no nut to retorque it like the other clamp here. So with elevated boost pressure, this walks off of the pipe and it ends up blowing. And these boots also aren't that great either. They're really common for boost leaks because it's coming right off the turbo here, so they see a lot of abuse, a lot of hot air, and this rubber deteriorates and starts to crack. Seen it quite a few times on a couple friends' trucks, especially tuned and deleted trucks. So super simple to look and see if you're slipping off of this rolled edge. Found this used WC Fab pipe on Marketplace for $100, which is a pretty good deal. A little bit of the powder coat scraped off because it's tight fit to get it in there, but I think new pipes are around that $400 mark, $500. So not too bad for some peace of mind. The boots they come with are upgraded boots. You can see this one's heat treated coming right off the turbo. So it'll withstand higher boost pressures and a lot more abuse and won't split like the factory unit. The lower joint is a little bit different on the 17 to 19s. You have the rubber portion at the bottom, but the upgrade works for the 17 to 19s and the 2020 to current models. Basically the same. I think these 20 plus body styles are a little bit tighter under the hood with your coolant reservoirs and a little bit tight fit at the bottom. If you can see down here. I just have a couple extensions going to that lower boot. And that's going to be our hardest joint to get apart and reinstall. But I really don't think this install is going to be too bad. I'll let you know when I'm all said and done here. So far, I just popped this little fuse block out of the way. Give you a little more access down there. So that clamp wasn't too bad. I'm going to try and do it without taking the fender liner out, see if that's possible. And just let you know what the most efficient way of getting this in and out is. So I'm about 5 minutes in here. We got this pipe out already. It fits out through the top, but it does have the rubber flex joint in there, so it makes it a bit easier. The new pipe going in is going to be the hard part. Let's just eye them up on the floor here. So not as flexible, obviously. Gonna have to fight a bit more. She's gonna look good. Let's measure these pipes. New WC Fab pipe, 3" here. The boot's flared out on this, so I can't get right to the joints, but if we hover over it, it's about 2.5 here, if you're lucky. And the upgraded boots and getting rid of this joint is going to eliminate possible boost leaks in the future. Since I bought a used pipe with no clamps, I'm going to reuse these factory ones. I just made a small cut, and these stock clamps come right off. I'm going to do the same to this guy. It's not cut yet. These are really good quality clamps. I don't know why GM didn't go one step farther and add a good clamp there. You wouldn't have any of these issues. I'm going to put this boot and the clamps loosely on the lower intercooler and kind of give our pipe enough room to kind of wiggle in there. As much room as possible anyways. And then we'll tighten these clamps after. So with the intercooler pipe out of there, there's a decent amount of room to slide your hand in the back side here. You can see our boot, and I got both clamps loosely on there. So let's see if this pipe fits. First attempt, pretty tight. I'm gonna move this auxiliary little coolant tank. There's just 3 10 mil nuts on it. And then hopefully that'll give us just a little bit more wiggle room here. Oh, okay, she's in. That took some persuasion though. That was a lot more challenging than I thought it was gonna be. Ooh, added some new scratches, but it's loosely installed. Boot's not done up yet. Oh. There was one 10 mil nut on this coolant pipe right here. Kind of going towards the cylinder head. I undid the one nut to give this hose a little bit more wiggle room. And I undid one nut on this plastic trim here. And that gave me some wiggle room on that harness. I don't know if this was worth the fight. And of course, adding a couple scratches doesn't make a guy feel good either. If you had a new pipe, I think I would definitely leave the bubble wrap on to try and prevent some of the scratches. I didn't care as much because this pipe already had scratches in it, but it is doable without taking the fender liner out. All right, new pipe's in, we're torqued down. Fitment up top is pretty good. I will admit these WC Fab pipes look really good. Down at the bottom, we got both clamps there. Torque down as well. Definitely tight fit. I see the appeal of the Banks 2-piece pipes. Once this pipe is in, I like the solid design because you get rid of a connection, but the Banks pipe where it has a joint right there as well would be way easier to install. I'll say I probably burnt up a good half hour just trying to wiggle this into place, make sure it's not rubbing on anything. So if you're installing one of these one-piece pipes, give yourself a good couple hours. You don't want to be rushed like me. If you're rushed, you end up scraping up your new pipe. Yeah, you can see quite a few scratches on that, so not super happy about that. But all in all, it's still a good upgrade. Definitely a must-have for your Duramax. All said and done, I'm still pretty happy with it. It's kind of the first thing you see when you open the hood, so definitely a nice piece. Hopefully that gives you guys a rough idea of what it's like to install. A little bit more challenging than I thought it would be, but totally doable. Just a couple of long extensions, an 11 mil socket, and you're pretty much good to go. A couple hours of time. Most important part is just looking at this seam on your old stock pipe and making sure it's tucked up nice tight against that rolled edge. If this blows off, it'll be under heavy load, usually when you're towing, on holidays, usually at the worst possible time. So change this out before you get stranded. But hopefully that helps you guys out. And cheers, we'll catch you in the next one.